All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you all for joining me today for this week's Mindful Moment session. My name is Jean, and this week we are going to be talking about photography for mindfulness. And this has been a topic that I've been really looking forward to since I myself am an amateur photographer. So let's get started. So your camera can actually be a handy tool to appreciate beauty and joy in the present, in the here and now. The camera is a convenient tool to focus our attention and synchronize our mind and body because it allows us to notice what captures beauty, what captures our attention that we want to take a picture of wherever we spot it. So let yourself be surprised by how prevalent beauty is when you stop and look. All right, so we're going to go over some ways in which we can maybe integrate more of photography with mindfulness. And first is plan a photography outing. So this applies less in these pandemic times, but maybe post-pandemic, or just maybe with family member or a friend. Of course, with social distancing restrictions, we can plan a photography outing, for example, in the park that's nearby where you live, and just kind of take a camera and maybe start looking for things that you might want to take pictures of. And what you'll notice is that when you have your camera and you're actively looking for these little moments or pictures to take pictures of, you will be more aware of your surroundings and you will feel that you're more in the present. Another idea is to combine photos and journaling. So, for example, maybe each week you take some photos as typical, and you can pick a few photos and maybe print them to put them in your journal. And for each photo, kind of reflect on what the photo looks like or reflect on how that relates to something that you experienced this week. And this type of reflection will increase your engagement and will really help us to be more mindful and kind of having that reflective mindset. Another idea is to curate a gratitude wall. So what this means is pick some of those photos that kind of mean the most to you or the most meaningful to you, and we can curate a gratitude wall, which is filled with pictures that maybe instill gratitude within you or make you joyful. And this way, every time you walk by it, you'll have a sense of gratitude or joy. All right, so now that we have gone through these tips, we will transition to our mindful practice. Now, for this week's mindful practice, we are going to look at one of the videos that I used in one of my previous sessions, where we're doing a virtual walk in nature. But this time, I would like us to kind of open our eyes, maybe midway, half closed, and kind of gently search for those things. Pretend that you have a camera with your eyes and pretend that you're taking a picture. So be on the lookout for things that you might want to take a picture of, and perhaps pretend that you might journal about it later in the week, or maybe even put it on your gratitude wall. All right, so before we begin our mindful practice, I would like us all to take 3 deep breaths, breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. All right. So I'm going to transition to this other tab so that we're able to have it full screen. And enjoy. All right, so now that we have finished our mindful practice, we will do something different for this week's discussion. I have kind of a little collage here of some photos that I wanted to share with you guys. Um, these were photos that I took personally. As I mentioned before, I really enjoy being out there, especially in nature, with my camera, and especially when traveling. So, on the pictures on the left, those are two pictures that I took in on my trip when I was in California. And just looking back at these pictures, I can see, I can remember some of my memories from these trips. So these pictures are very valuable to kind of reflect back on. And when I'm not traveling, I do also really enjoy just going outside and taking my camera and just taking pictures of particularly flowers and anything out in nature. It helps me engage with nature better, be more aware of my surroundings, and kind of just have a better appreciation for nature. It's also a nice break for me. And when I take a break after doing some schoolwork. So I do particularly like all of these pictures that I put on here. Typically, I like taking lots of different pictures, but not all of them end up looking as great, but that's okay. Yeah, so we're going to end this session with a quote. With your camera in hand, hunt for beauty like a child looking for seashells on the beach, and seek beauty in unexpected places. So really, even if we're not traveling, even if we're not by the beach, there can still be lots of different things to be able to enjoy and take pictures of, whether that be nature or it could even be a selfie with your friends or your family, kind of just capturing that moment allows us to have a greater appreciation for each moment. All right. So I wanted to quickly reference one of these sources, the National Geographic Everyday Mindfulness special issue, in which some of the content in this session was inspired by. And I wanted to thank you all so much for coming today to this week's Mindful Moments session. And I hope you all enjoyed it. And have a great and mindful week ahead of you.